All right, we're going to, this is a meeting of the police and fire. December the 5th, December the 19th, 5:30. Tonight, we're going to discuss the development of the city vehicle policy, use policy for the police. We're going to discuss the police and fire department equipment and vehicle needs. And we also see the two public, your fire department, right? This is okay. So any discussion you want to have with us about that?
You said for the employee, you didn't say for the employees, you said fire and police. Is it for all employees or just fire and police?
Right now it's fire and police.
Okay, because this is what the agenda says.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So do you want to add some stuff there, Tom?
I didn't hear what the question was, but we're talking about, what are we talking about, the policy right now?
Yes.
What was the question?
Yeah, the policy, we're going to discuss the policy, the vehicle take-home policy. Right now, the take-home policy is, as I talked to Chief Tolliver, is a 40-mile radius for the take-home policy. And I think you and I discussed that with him.
Yes.
And so we're going to kind of talk about that, see what our committee comes up with, and see what we need to do about. I guess we have a policy. Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, we have a policy, and we just wanted to take a look at it and modify it a little bit. So he did that, and I've got the policy here on my phone, and I'm looking at it. So if there's any questions that anybody has, I'll be able to answer that for them. But basically, the policy is written toward making sure that if somebody takes it home, that their officially can be recalled, on duty if needed. And most of our policemen and police women live close in town. So there's only a few that live on the outskirts. I think one lives toward Albany and one lives toward Sugar Grove. But basically, these policies are, they're pretty good right now. So I think any section, I don't know if you've got. Did you print off the policy, John?
Devin just sent me a new policy that he had. Did you get that by any chance?
Yes.
No.
He sent me a new policy just not too long ago. And he added some things to it. So we'll need to print that out.
How can we discuss it if we don't even know what the policy is?
Well, that's what Tom's telling us.
Okay, who put the policy together?
Devin. Chief Tolliver did.
Okay. So we're to discuss a policy that we have not seen, is that correct? Just want to make sure.
Well.
Yeah, this is a newer policy, and if you guys want to take a quick look at it, it won't take long to read. There's only about 9 points there, well, let's say 11 and it wouldn't take too long to breeze through it. If we could print that off somehow, I don't know how we can get that done, or Nancy, I could probably send it to your phone, I think. So.
I do not have the new revised policy. I would like to have the policy in front of me though.
So would I.
Somebody send to my email, I can do it and print that off.
That would be great.
Please.
I have the old policy right here.
Yeah, is Chief Barber there still?
Yeah.
Email me the policy.
I can send this to,
Yes.
I can send this to Chief Barber real quick, and he could probably,
I'll go print it off.
print it off. So.
Yeah, because he just revised that thing and sent it to me just not too long ago.
Yeah, so.
But I have the one he gave me the other day, and I could read. But if you can print it off, we'll get it
Yeah, you
printed
can
off.
send it to me. I'll get it now.
Hey, was Harry able to get that?
He's looking now.
Do if it's easier for me to email it to him, I can email it to him too, so.
Don't email it, it'll be faster to print it.
Email would be quicker, he said.
Okay, let me do that here real quick.
While we're waiting, did we get any information from the public prior to this meeting?
No.
The information that went out, Nancy, was, it was going to be, for the employees. It didn't specifically say just fire and, police. So,
So this covers the whole city employees.
well, but that wouldn't come through this committee. It would only, the fire and police should only come through this committee.
Right.
So I have a question. So who sets the policy? Would that not be the city manager that sets the policy?
I don't know, Tom, would that, who did write this policy up? Did Chief Tolliver write it up?
This new one, yes, he modified it.
He modified the old one that I have, right?
Yes, that's correct, as I understand it.
And he wrote it up. Did you, are you just looking at it, or did you see it beforehand?
Yeah, him and I have talked about it already, and, I thought it was fair and equitable, and, he basically, has the authority to, grant the privilege or revoke the privilege at any time, so,
He did add some interesting things in there, I noticed when he emailed it to me, and,
okay.
so that'll be something that he'll bring in, and you can take a look at that real quick.
Right. Just tell Chief Barber I'm having a difficult time emailing him from my phone, but I think he got a text, and if he could just send it to himself on an email and print it out, he could do that, so. Did you get that, Harry?
I think he's in there waiting on his email.
Okay. All right. Well, we're doing phone number 2 here. We'll take up the service pro and send it that way. Hold on a second.
Did he get it?
He's trying to make it work. It's not.
Not yet. Just give me a second here. I'll get it to him. Hold on. Okay, hold on here a minute. I'll be able to get this to him. Hold on.
John, has the chief police given you any itemization like Chief Barber's given
No.
us in regard?
No.
Don't you think we need that?
Yeah, that would be, I know we're gonna discuss the vehicles that we talked about.
I understand those have already been purchased.
No, they haven't already been purchased. Right, Tom?
Yeah, they're being outfitted as we speak, but they haven't been delivered yet. So
They have been purchased.
So
we
they've all,
have not sent them any money yet. They've given us a price and an invoice and what it's going to cost to outfit them. One's going to be one's an unmarked cruiser and one's going to be a marked cruiser. So yes.
What is the reason for the unmarked cruiser?
Basically, that's going to be the police chief. That's going to be the command center. Let me start back from the beginning. The emergency action plan that we do not have completed for the city and is going to involve the 2 vehicles. One Chief, or the one that Chief Barber has, 2001, we call that vehicle. All of our servers are cloud-based, so we don't have any hardware there at City Hall. If any catastrophe were to happen, we'd still be able to operate the police department and the fire department by mobile commands, basically. And then the City Hall would move, the rest of the City Hall would move down to the sewer, the wastewater treatment plant to take over down there. So, with the Surface Pro that would be in the command vehicle, which would be Chief Tolliver's vehicle, that's what we would use it for dispatching and all that, and for him taking care of the police force. And number two, that's also going to be something he's going to use for investigations and undercover work too. So, we even took the spotlight out. We didn't want the spotlight in the vehicle. But we always can put that vehicle back into the fleet and work the vehicle.
It's funny. I think that whole thing's funny. Where you actually do
The truck that he's driving now
You
is
wait
not
for
really
open your eyes, you try to see
Excuse
that.
me, excuse me.
and that's gonna go back into the service.
That's Mr.
fleet,
Donkey.
used by the service fleet. That's what's going on there.
That's not like it go anywhere.
Was everybody able to hear that?
I believe so. Did y'all hear that? Yeah,
I heard Bob too.
thank you. We got it here, Tom.
Okay, good, so, you got the policy printed out yet? I sent it to
Yes,
Harry.
Harry got it. Thanks, Harry.
Yeah, sorry for taking so long, I thought I could do it off my phone, but I did it off my computer. And that's just an example of how that stuff works, and, I'm thankful to Chief Barber that he set that up with T-Mobile years ago, because I was kind of concerned that we didn't have any physical servers, but this has kind of been a blessing in disguise, because, we could take up anywhere in case something happens, and it's a very inexpensive way to do it, to not have the physical servers, because we have a double and triple redundancy with the cloud, and we kind of pay for it that way, and it's very inexpensive, so, and, I've seen it work really well, and of course, I've been using it here for the last couple of weeks myself, and not missing a beat, and, even got incoming phone calls, while I'm down here at my desk, so it works out really well, so I'm kind of like checking it out, so, if it works all the way down here, I know it's gonna work up there, and like I said, Chief Barber's insight was really, pretty cool with all this stuff, so I'm glad we have that, so.
So we have the policy in front of us.
Yeah, okay, good, all right.
And I guess this policy has already been enacted with the police department.
Yes,
When
basically.
was it enacted, please?
Nancy said, when was it enacted?
Well, basically, I told him it was fine, and he could basically use it, and it's something that he's been using all along at his discretion, and, this is, exactly, what we talked about anyway. We were trying to come up with an arbitrary number, and how we assign these vehicles, and, this is a privilege and a perk that can be dealt out at any time, and most of the officers have to understand that if they take these vehicles home, they can't be used for personal use. Now, if they're on their way home and they want to stop at a grocery store or something like that, if they ask for permission to do that, that's okay. But to use them for anything else, no. But then they have to agree to be on call, or what we call more like a recall, in case we need them to come back into service. Otherwise, if they're not going to agree to do that, if you read down through all the policies, basically, that gives the chief the privilege to take that privilege away. So, and then, we've already talked to the officers about that, and putting tracking devices on it, whatever, basically, it's something we're going to do here in the near future. I just wanted to make sure it was okay with council first before I ordered these GPS trackers. Now, I understand that we did that before, we have them around somewhere, so I'm having my service director try to locate them. But I think it's a good idea just for the protection of the public and the officers. So if anybody ever questions where these vehicles were, we'd be able to look that up.
I also noticed on here, Tom, that he added this mileage log.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of course, if you got a GPS on it, you'll know where they are, or whether they're driving into the from Lancaster to Columbus or whatever,
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, because that's a nice stopgap before we get the electronic system.
Yeah.
And it's just going to make them more accountable, and it's going to make them aware of what they're doing with that, so we know. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. mean, and cost is a big thing, because, we've got the fleet just about up to speed where we want it once we get done with these purchases, but the big thing is, you know, we're gonna have to hold tight for 3 or 4 years. The American Rescue Fund money was a nice bonus. It's not really part of our operating budget, but it needs to be used for specific things. And police cruisers is one of them. And I want to use those funds, you know, judiciously and be smart about it, because if we don't use them in the right way, then we have to, there's a possibility those funds have to be returned. And I don't want to return any money to the federal
Right.
government. So.
Right.
Who came up with the 40-mile radius?
Chief Oliver did. I told him to come up with a number to discuss it with you folks.
What did he base it on? Do you know, sir?
Say again?
Do you know what he based that on, sir?
I do not. I'm assuming that probably, I think Sergeant Greeno is the one who lives up towards Sugar Grove. And that's probably what he was thinking about.
Yeah.
And I think probably Albany would probably be, I don't know, how far is Albany? 25 miles?
Yeah, probably about that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what, probably how we came up with that number. When Mr. Flowers and I were talking originally, we were talking 20 miles, so.
Yeah.
I saw the 40 miles in there, and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe that could be negotiated, and, you know, we could talk about that, so.
Well, I think, Tom, that if the committee would, discuss it, if this policeman that lives in Sugar Grove should depart from the police force, maybe we can shrink that down to a 25-mile or so.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's interesting you say that, because it's kind of a double-edged sword, to attract people and also to retain people.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're all aware of what we pay our police officers, and I'm always trying to do better by them, and we're getting closer to what their needs are, but, right now, we've got a good force, and, I'm hoping to keep them all for the next 4 to 5 years, and this is an important thing, to be able to do that for them, to each have their own basic, their cruiser. I know they have to pay for a lot of their, other things that they use, like their rifles and other things that they may keep in their vehicles.
Right.
But, and we try to supply them with all the ammo, and especially when they go to qualify and do all that, and some uniforms and things. So we try to do as much as we can, because I'm always worried about retention. Right now, I mean, it's a good group. I'm happy with them, and their performance is pretty good. I haven't had any complaints about their performance. So the newer vehicles also, I kind of got them to promise me to spend more time patrolling up on the bypass. And I'm in talks with the chief and State Highway Patrol of how we can do that. And those 2 vehicles would also be interceptors to do that. And we're thinking about that too.
How would that work if we're patrolling up on the bypass, as far as accident goes? Would that still be under the authorization of the Ohio State Patrol? Or would...
Yeah, no, you know, and Nancy can really explain this really well, because she's been a peace officer for a long time, but the Supreme Policing Authority, and Nancy, jump in here anytime, is always the elected official, which is the sheriff. So they can decide, you know, where the policing authorities are in that county. And State Patrol decides to take traffic, because they specialize more in that. The sheriff can always take that over, and the local, what they call constable or police officer, can take control over that. So we'd have an agreement with them. A lot of times the sheriff department does get a grant, you know, to patrol more for seatbelt violations and speed and stuff like that. And Nancy's pretty aware of that, because she's done a lot of that throughout her career. So the idea is, you know, to slow people down on the bypass, of course, create more revenue.
Yeah.
And we also wanted to talk with the Department of Transportation to create us a better place to park and another turnaround up there, so our police officers can utilize the turnaround feature, because it's kind of a short distance. And we're just scoping it all out and checking it all out. And,
How many
and
cruises?
then, you know, with that, you know, a few more be able to, you know, search and seizures and get possessions of vehicles, and then with the impound lock we have, that's another way to, you know, to either raise revenue or do what we need to do to keep the public safe.
Nancy, what did you have a question?
How many cruisers at the present time are being taken home?
I do not know that. I wish Devin was here. I think Devin's, I think, preoccupied with one of his children up at Children's Hospital. But, we have 9 people on the police force, and I don't know the exact count of the vehicles. I know 2 of the vehicles are getting quite old and need to be taken out of service. And we're going to be able to get the vehicle from Bookville. It looks like it's in really good shape, but they're checking it out as we speak. So we'll see.
So that we're getting, let me get this straight. You've already requisitioned 2 vehicles, is that correct?
Well, they're on order, yes. We haven't physically paid for them yet, no, because like I said, the ARPA funds are separate. We can purchase them at any time. That's not really a budget issue for end of year or any concern. The idea was the Ohio State Patrol is getting ready to order and purchase 250 Dodge Durangos. That's what these particular vehicles are. And this one dealership over in the Cincinnati area basically had 6 black and 4 white, and they were selling them at a discounted price to kind of move them on. And so we wanted to take advantage of that. So
If you haven't purchased the vehicles, why are you spending money to get them filled with the proper equipment?
the base vehicle is $43,000, and to outfit them, I think the standard price is about $16,000, and one's about $10,000. From the light bars to all the mounts for the radios and all the lights and everything that they need, which was a shocker to me because I must be getting old because it never used to cost that much. And Devin and I called all over the country and found out this is basically the price that they charge to outfit these vehicles now. So, and that's what that is. So that's how that works.
Okay. So, we're talking about 2 different things here. We're talking about,
Okay.
yeah, we're talking about 2 different things. We're talking about the take-home policy. So, I think what we need to do, I guess, is to approve this take-home policy. Is that right?
Well, that was my, okay,
We
go
always
ahead.
want to run it by the fire and police committee because we want everyone to see what the citizens think about how this, so we can all be on the same page when we're asked questions about it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. So,
We have Joanne. She wants to ask a question.
On item number 3, the assignment of the take-home cruisers, et cetera, it says is subject to periodic review, but it doesn't say who's going to do that, and there should probably be a reasonable amount of time between that, not like every 4 years or something. But it needs to say who the periodic reviewer is, or what department, or when, or it needs to be more specific, I believe.
Did you hear that, Tom?
It addresses it on the
I
back
didn't
page.
catch it all
There's
specific.
more?
I'm waiting to it.
She said, specific in what way? You mean somebody named Joanne?
A position name,
Oh, okay.
or a committee, or something.
Number 8.
Yeah. Chief of Police reserves the right to revoke an officer take-home cruiser privilege at any time.
That's still kind of a little bit different,
Yeah.
because this sets the limits as opposed to taking away privileges. And maybe it should be the same person for review, but I think review means more encompassing than just,
I think that would fall under the city manager.
I would think that too. I would think that too.
but I think it needs to be there.
Yeah. I think that would be Tom,
Okay, so we're looking at number 8.
Well, we're looking at number 3 on the front page, Tom, assigned take-home cruiser. Take-home cruiser.
The
may be
word
assigned to an
periodic
officer.
review need more specific.
She says, you mean more specific as who
Yes.
makes that determination?
Yes. Or how
It
it's
actually
made.
says it by the charter. City manager controls all city vehicles and city property.
So that would be the city, that would be Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
I don't think we're going to put that right here, though.
Performance criteria, so it's more objective instead of subjective.
Right.
So,
right.
So it doesn't look like we're playing favorites, and that's, yeah, I'll do that then. I've done that before. I'll go ahead and put something together and Devin and I will talk about that. That's a great catch. Thanks, Joanne.
You're welcome.
So what do we need to do? Do we need to just, you've been on these committees before.
Well, I was just handed this a few minutes ago. I'm not prepared tonight to make a recommendation.
No, I don't mind.
On this, okay. Okay, so we'll just table this thing and take a look at the, we can talk about the equipment part of it, right?
Yes.
Yes, the police and fire equipment and vehicle needs, which is what we were talking about prior to tabling this, right?
Could we just go back for 1 second, please?
Yeah, go back to 1 second.
Okay, even though we, the council, I'm sorry, police and fire, are going to table this right now, the manner in which the cruisers are taken home and everything is going to keep on going without us,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Well, yeah, and what we're trying to do is we, in good faith, we're always trying to run it by the citizens to see what they think. Policy and procedures basically by city, by this, the charter basically are really the city managers and the chiefs, and we decide all that because you give us good faith to be able to do that. But since it was brought up as a concern, we just want to address the situation. And I think you've seen a noticeable difference in the police department, and we want to keep a nice cohesive group together. I mean, since I started on October 2nd, I've been very happy with their performance. I really don't want to talk about what happened before I got there, but right now things are going well, and I want to keep them that way. And we're having to deal with a lot of dispatching problems, which is a whole different situation. So this is a good policy right now to keep them enthused about still working here, because we have other issues to work on to make sure they stay comfortable working here. If you know where I'm going. I really don't want to get into the dispatching stuff tonight.
Right.
That's a whole different animal. And with this here, this is a good package, and I think he's come up with a pretty good stab at it for the first time. And we just want consensus among people, so there's everyone's on the same page, and so if there's any complaints, we can all explain to people how this works.
Well, let's do that. Let's get, since we've got it out here on the YouTube, and if people are watching this, they can voice we've only got 2 or 3 people here in our citizens here, and so I would imagine if we will hear from before the next meeting whether they like the policies that we have, or they request the policies to look at them. I think the biggest thing is the 40 miles. I think is the biggest hangup that anybody ever has with this policy. And I'm assuming, that was the biggest hangup I think I had, was that distance of 40 miles. And then, I saw a picture where the police cruiser was in the Logan Walmart, and I thought, wonder why it's up there, but that explains it, because the guy was going to Sugar Grove.
Right.
So,
yeah, if he stops in to probably buy something on the way home, that's understandable.
and that's in the policy. Yeah, that's in the policy.
Yeah, and it's a far cry from what was done before, because the police pickup truck that the chief drives now was originally bought for the previous chief, or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, two chiefs. And that gentleman drove it all the way to Meigs County every day, and that was kind of a stretch, but like I said, I'm trying to let all that stuff go and move on, but I want to come up with something reasonable. So, because you got to remember if you look at the surrounding areas and what officers are paid, and you add up all their, other benefits that they get, that's part of the package.
Right.
So,
right. Well, I think we'll see what the citizens comments will be throughout before our next meeting, I guess, and then kind of maybe have some fine tuning to it and see what we can what the citizens actually want, whether But I think I think the policies here are in line with everything being copacetic on it. Except I think the mileage might be the problem, like I said.
Yeah, and I just want to say once before, I mean, it's our job as the managers and the chiefs to come up with policies and keep
Right.
the city in running order, but with the change of council and what people have asked for, we would just want to involve everybody more in the decision-making process, so we can all, be okay with things. Like I said, a consensus, we're never gonna agree completely, but
Right.
I'm always hoping for about 70%, and then, but once we make the decision, I would really like 100% commitment from everybody that's in the committees and the council and everybody who works for the city. So, we can all support our officers and our firefighters in the same way.
Yeah.
That's important. It really is.
Well, let's go. We kind of, any more questions on the take-home policy?
Not at this time.
Let's move on to the, discussion about the police and fire equipment and their vehicle needs. I think Harry has some things he wants to talk about, right, Harry? So do you want to do that now?
Sure.
Harry's going to talk about his fire needs. Okay?
All right, so,
Speak up, Harry.
I really only have a few things on the agenda, that are things that I'm looking at for 2024 year. Before COVID, we would look at a year to a year and a half, to build a fire apparatus. That's after that fire apparatus is ordered. Post-COVID, we're looking at least 2 years now. So what that means, what that looks like is, let's say the year 2024, we decided to order a replacement fire apparatus. We would not receive that apparatus. That apparatus would not be built until 2026. That's how long it takes. We have an aging fleet. I think I gave all the committee members a breakdown of the vehicles that we have, the miles run of vehicles, the age of the vehicles, and kind of where they are in the rotation or response. So right now, as you can see, we've got 22, 21-year-old vehicles.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is, further from this paperwork here, get an apparatus replacement schedule in place to actually propose to the Police and Fire Committee. But I want to work with Tom to make sure he's involved with that. Then we will go ahead and submit that to the committee for review. That we can get that process started, because my second out engine right now requires a significant amount of maintenance, and when the vehicles get to a certain age, it's really hard to actually depend on that for emergency response. So hopefully for the year 2024, I can get some type of schedule in place, some type of future glance at where we will be vehicle-wise. I will tell you that apparatus purchase prices are continuing to rise. Our ladder truck, which has been a good vehicle, we're looking at $1 to $2 million replacement cost on that vehicle at today's prices. That same vehicle was not more than $500,000 when it was purchased. Our pumper, which is our frontline truck, that is the apparatus that we use for all of our fire rescue EMS calls. That truck, we were at $400,000 on that truck. We actually spec'd that vehicle down and actually installed equipment in that vehicle in our bay to try to save money. To compare the pricing and how much money we saved the city then, we had a similar apparatus, a similar pumper that was purchased in the city of Athens, and a similar one that was purchased at the city of Logan. One was $575,000 and one was $600,000. Those prices are continuing to rise as well. We're looking at closer to $500,000 to $600,000 now just for a pumper. Everything's going up. If it has fire on it, if it's fire related, if it's emergency related, the prices have skyrocketed. We look at quarterly increases just on our bunker gear. So it's important. We've had trucks that went down. Everybody's very familiar with our frontline engine that had liner issues, and we had to have that engine rebuilt. And we'll tell you that they don't put that series of engine in those apparatus anymore. So that problem has been remedied. But so that's the big thing on my agenda is sitting down with Tom, and getting a schedule together to present to the committee, then present to council to get that process started, because it takes such a long time. And unless they change things, the city doesn't pay for an apparatus. They don't make the payment until that apparatus is delivered.
But you have to put a down payment.
If we put a down payment on the last one, which actually brought the pricing down on the vehicle a little bit. So it would be up to the company that we're getting the loan through when. we get
As
the
to how much
payment.
down payment they would need to go ahead and start on it. Does that lock in the price though? Or in 2 years, once the vehicle's done, will they raise the price up?
Unless
meet
they
that.
change something, usually when you get your prices locked in on your vehicles, they're locked
Okay,
in. So
because you just said that the prices were,
the prices have been fluctuating a lot.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So if we lock it in, the sooner we lock something in, the better off the price is going to be, right?
And, with the age of apparatus, we are, so the job that the men and women of the fire department perform, property preservation, lives being saved, response time out of the station, age of the fleet, down to the amount of hours that the firefighters are logging per day, which my firefighters actually log training and recertification hours daily. We are rated on everything that we do. That rating directly affects the insurance rates of citizens in the city of Nelsonville. So whether it be apparatus maintenance, age of apparatus, number of firefighters on a truck, leaving the station, everything affects that rate, including the age of our fleet.
So you'll work with,
Yes.
you'll work with Mr. Clinjimmy here.
Yes, and I'd like to reopen this by saying we're very fortunate to have Chief Barber. He's been with the fire department over 22 years. 9 years he has been the chief. I'm down here in the central part, the lower part of Florida, and I'm working with a lot of retired chiefs and EOCs from the whole state of Florida. And they are truly amazed at our full-time fire department for the size of our city. And they're saying hats off to us, and they're giving me a lot of helpful hints and information that I send back to Harry about how to attain this equipment. If our trucks can reach up to the 30-year mark, FEMA's going to actually be able to kick in and help with a lot of that if we can make it that far. Second of all, I was really pleased to hear, because Harry is ahead of his time, especially trying to forecast what a fire district will do. And they said he's spot on with that, because that's where we need to go because of the way the times are and the finances are. And also with being the hazmat or the incident commander for the county, because we don't have anything in the surrounding counties that take care of that. So with all that forecasting, and if we have the right equipment and the right personnel in place, all that funding is going to be available to really bolster the departments because of how we fit the performance model. And that's important because they look at what they call a standard of excellence, having to do with who the fire chief is, the training, the certifications, the equipment, the location, and then we can get a lot of federal funds for that too. And Chief Barber can go more into that. But I just want to let you know it's been a blessing for me to be able to work with all these folks down here that have that knowledge that they can help us out with that. So
That's great.
it's a lot of good news, and I'm really excited and happy. But we just have to maintain to get there, and we'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay, well, so let's run over real quickly again about the 2 vehicles. Do we have any more discussion? Do we need any more discussion on those 2 vehicles?
The purchase of the cruisers.
Yes.
So in order to do that, do we need to have a resolution or ordinance to do that?
I really don't think so, because you can if you want to. And the reason why I say that is because the American Rescue Fund, the ARPA fund, is separate from our operating budget. Those monies were given basically because of the COVID years and the spike in crime. And if you read, if you really want to read 447 pages, you can. I think the state has about 30 or 40 pages you can read for the synopsis of the program. But it was designed to do that, and each municipality was given so much money to use to do that in a specific amount of time. So I mean, it's there. It's supposed to be used, and that's all I can tell you at this point.
Okay, does that fund completely buy the vehicles, or does the city have part ownership or part responsibility for the cost of those?
No, all that money will come out of the ARPA funds.
Yeah.
Anything that we use for the police department, we'll do that.
So I wouldn't think we would need an ordinance because we're not spending any of the city's money. Is that right?
That is correct. And which keeps me into re-answering some stuff about Nancy's original question, because with the spike in crime and all that, basically undercover vehicles are important too, and that's why I was kind of focusing on the chief having something that wasn't as conspicuous, and having those kind of vehicles for that. So that's important. That's really important.
Okay.
So I have a question then, to expand on the COVID money, ARPA funds, the city manager can spend those however, without ordinance or resolution of council?
As long as we're following the federal and state guidelines, yes. And I'm always real careful to do that, to make sure that it fits the qualifying reasons, because Mr. Taylor Sackington will say, because he runs it by me every day, but if we get audited, I said, okay, you're right, Taylor. And so we always have those justifications written up in case people are looking at those funds, whether it's a federal audit, a state audit, or whatever it may be. So
We have a question, Mr. Dumpy, I think.
I think actually there was legislation passed restricting how much the city manager could purchase without council approval. You might want to check on that. I know the funds aren't part of the budget, but there was a restriction placed not on a prior city manager. There was legislation passed capping his purchase power unless approved by council.
I'll check on that. I appreciate that, Mr. Dumpy.
Yeah.
According to Ohio Revised Code, they changed it now. It used to be 50,000, now it's 75,000. But I'll check in to see if we have any local ordinances or limits to that. So if you can, send me a text or an email about approximately what time, and I'll have the clerk look it up and see if I can find it. Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
The purchase amount is $50,000, but it seems how it's not city money, it's ARPA money. I don't think you need council's approval for ARPA money.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always
But
good to keep.
at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, if you take a chance to buy something you're not supposed to buy, that's on you personally.
So you'll check that out and make sure, right, Tom?
Yeah, and what was the Sherman said on this that?
They said, I think the purchasing power is $50,000 without council's approval, but at the end of the day, if you spend ARPA money, which is not city money, and the purchase isn't a proper purchase, it's not on the city to pay that back. It'll come out of somebody else's pocket.
Yeah, that's correct. So we're always careful to make sure we follow the guidelines.
Okay, all right. So you'll get that checked out for us, so we don't step in a pile of it.
That's a good way to put it.
That is a good way to put it. So anyway,
if anybody can tell me the approximate time, I can have the clerk look that up. I'd be more glad to do that.
yeah, Tony can get that to you.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any more discussion on that topic? Buying the police vehicles. Okay, so we've been getting the public's comment, but if you want to make a comment now.
I have something else on the fire department truck replacement schedule. I didn't see the chief's truck listed on here. What year is your truck here?
Oh, that's a 20, that's not something that I'm even looking at putting on the schedule right now. My main goal is apparatus, the bit larger apparatus.
Okay, but just what year is your truck?
20?
20?
Yes.
How many miles are on it?
38,000. 8, or it could be 9.
Okay.
The only other thing I had, for tonight at all was, we are out of room at the fire department, so I'm trying to get creative right now to use our space as productively as I can. And I have my 2 rescue boats that are on 2 separate trailers. So I would like to open discussion for the 2024 year to make a purchase of a dual boat rescue trailer. I did write a grant for it. We did not get that one. So I will try to write another grant, but it's $24,905 is what the trailer is.
Could that be have anything to do with this
No,
ARPA?
no, ARPA is very specific with being used in relation to upticks in crime or direct relation to the COVID pandemic. So I wouldn't want to even try to touch that.
So that is not in the, is the 20, well,
No,
basically
it's
25,000 in the budget
not.
for this year?
No, I know it's not in the 24 budget.
Okay,
That would have to be something additional.
so that would have to kick over to finance committee.
Yes, because what I'm looking at is trying to make a smaller footprint in the bay and also have all of our water rescue equipment together whenever we.
And get the
water
boats,
rescue
the boats out of there.
The way we operate right now, we can't get out of the station efficiently because we're locked in, we have no space. That's less that we have to move around, we have everything together. I did get some word back. Remember we talked about the lean-to, the pool barn style addition with walls on the
I
side of our building?
suggested that, correct?
Yes, so I talked with Shore Architects. They gave me a rough number that makes this not feasible.
Okay.
They were giving me a ballpark of $600,000.
Oh,
And the problem is with the contractors, with everything that we have to jump through every hoop that's there because, you know, we're in the city. We have to follow fire code, we have to follow the building standards. That is a very high number. I was not expecting that.
Oh.
But it's not we can't have some fly by the night agency come in and just build something and then, you know, we can't do that. So right now, that is not something that's feasible.
The trailer is very feasible.
Correct, yeah. If we can make a smaller footprint in the bay, clean some stuff up, and have all of our equipment together, it would make it better for us.
Why can't you put a roof over all those Carnex boxes in the back?
We could, but we would have to also heat that for some of the water rescue gear and the outboards and we can't. have
What about the old street department building?
I think that's being used for storage right now. Right now, we have one of our boats in there because we're doing all of our Christmas events this month.
Mhm.
So that's an idea, but we still,
Would both of them fit there?
maybe, yes, but the need is to still to get both boats together on the same trailer. That way, we put a boat in the water, we have a second boat there, it's a backup engine, and all of our gear there in case something happens.
So how do you transport them now, Eric?
On 2 separate trailers, and the problem is whenever we put a boat in the water, to do water rescue, we really should have both boats there together. We really should have both boats in the water. Our department's so small, we can't have both boats in the water at the same time usually.
Okay.
But to have both boats together, have the scuba equipment, and some of us are on the Athens County dive team, and to have our outboard motors and everything together is pretty important.
Right. I can see that.
And it's actually pretty, and you know, if you look at the larger picture, it's 24,000 is actually a pretty small
Sure.
amount compared to
Sure.
everything else that we do.
Okay, that was my question.
That's all I've done for tonight.
Thank you.
Do we have it, anybody, citizens discussions?
I just have one thing on that $50,000 for that fund. The 2 vehicles they were talking about were around $47,000 each. And then if you had 16,000, 10,000, well, you can get 1 vehicle. Because that's the only thing under $50,000. You can't get any updating for it. You can't get another vehicle.
ARPA money though, it's not really city money.
Still purchases. It was to put an ordinance by, it doesn't matter, a purchase is a
Yeah,
purchase.
that,
They
if
take
you're
it
gonna
to
do it
council.
with the free money, that's what you can do.
Write up an ordinance and bring it from full council just to cover everyone's time. We did with ARPA money for years.
Correct.
And it just makes it safe for you.
You still there, Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I heard my phone beep. I didn't know if it got knocked you out there or not.
And in
Yeah.
order for that to happen, an ordinance, we're gonna have to do it pretty quick to meet
Yeah.
the end of the year. So basically this week.
Right. And then I think we'll probably have to call another council meeting to
Special
approve it.
Just
Yeah,
call
or see if the council wants to approve it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
the emergency.
Council has to,
right. Well, that's what I mean, to see if they want to approve it. If they don't want to approve, they can vote no, right?
correct?
That's right.
And a report from Taylor should be available also to find out if in fact they've got this money to do that with.
Last I knew, there was still 200,000 in the ARPA funds.
Oh, and the ARPA
There's
funds, thank you.
$249,000
There
in
we
the
go.
ARPA fund, and, I'm trying to look up the rules and limitations about how long we're allowed to hold that there before we have to return it. And, there'll still be plenty of money in the fund after we purchase those vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's a courtesy that I run it before the committees and the council, and it's a little different using those monies than it is on the budget, so I've got a chance to clean up the fleets and put everything where we need to be, and, take some of the old service vehicles out, clean things up, and, we're starting to do that, so, Jason just bought almost a $70,000 dump truck, and basically that was in his fund, so he just went up and purchased it, and we found a good deal on it. Same thing with the backhoe. And that's a good thing, because as we get our service department, more, I'd say manageable to do some of the work, we're gonna pick a street, put some new water lines in here soon. So we're gearing up to do a lot of different things, and it takes money and investment, and we can do that, we've got the budgets to do that. With the ARPA, this is a one-time thing, we wanna use it wisely.
Okay,
So,
all right. Well, I think probably we should call another, talk to Mr. Smith and call another council meeting and put this in an ordinance to purchase these vehicles.
So it would-
My understanding is that the Vogtle vehicle is going to be kind of a swap out thing.
yeah, we've estimated the vehicle to be worth about $8,000, the services are $30,000, so if we either collect 22 from them, or they pay us 30, we give them 8 for the vehicle, so forth and so on.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that'll be either used in the police fleet, or it'll be used for code enforcement, or whatever we decide to use it for. Like I said, we can even use the ARPA funds for that. There's all kinds of different things we can do with that, and like I said, we don't have to really pass an ordinance or resolution. If someone knows different, they can call and talk to me about it. But we just wanted to bring it before the committee and the council, just so they know what we're doing, keep you informed, that's all. So
Yep.
there's no surprises there, so, that's how that works.
Well, I think that the council should hear this. I could be wrong and I'm a newbie, I understand that, but I think this is something that we should put in an ordinance and let the council hear it, right?
Right, because the contract with Bookdole has not been approved for next year, correct?
Has the contract with Oakville been approved for next year, Tom?
No, I haven't signed it yet, if that's what you're asking, and if that needs to run through council, then so be it.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
All right,
that's fine.
yeah, we'll do that.
But purchases of vehicles, run through council before, is that the operating policy of the way the manager and chiefs buy their vehicles and equipment? Because, and then I
yes.
guess we have to run everything through, so how's that work?
Well, I think it's, I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, you have some experts there, right there, Mr. Flowers.
I
You can ask them.
I
already know
think-
the answer.
I think,
We don't have to have an ordinance or a resolution to buy equipment, especially with this kind of fund, but I always thought, Mr. Savington always wants me to run everything by council, so I kind of listen to his council.
right.
But,
Well, I I know, I still think, like Mr. Dumpy just said something, he said it's more being transparent, more transparent with the citizens.
Right, that's what I'm hearing.
To put it in front of council and let council approve it in an ordinance. So that's kind of a CYA to you. I mean, I think, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we can do that. Do I need to talk to you to go to, Jonathan about the ordinance?
No, I could talk to Jonathan about putting an ordinance together, that's fine.
Because, the thing that we talked about, everything goes through you to him, is that correct?
Yes, but, I don't wanna get into a situation where it's called then, here and now, or there now, or whatever it is.
Right.
Because, we can, go ahead, someone say something?
No, go ahead.
And so, we wanna take care of this and get it over with, I can always wait, but it's, something that needs to be done, and we wanna move forward with it. So, I'll try to get some more detail for everybody to be even more transparent, but, those are just daily operating things, and we do things to keep the services going, and this is one of them, so.
Okay. All right. I think that would be something that we would do. We'll do that real quickly and get that approved. So does anybody else got any more comments in the gallery there?
Comments or concerns?
Comments or concerns?
Oh. I didn't know if you were aware of a situation that happened a few weeks ago. I just heard it actually today out in the city. Are you aware of the dispatcher at Hockey College falling asleep?
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure that you guys knew about that was out. I mean, I heard that today. So, okay, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, if that's it for the meeting, we'll adjourn the meeting, and we'll talk to Tom and get the ordinance drawn up. And it's 6:25, so we'll call the meeting to be adjourned. All right.
All right, exactly 1 hour. Thank you, folks.
Okay, thanks, Tom.